Hello everybody, welcome to Perfectly Imperfect Designs. My name is Teresa, and today, I know I'm a little bit late to the game, but we're going to make a fall wreath because I have an order. And the way that I'm going to be doing this is considered, I guess you could call it the push forward, pull back method with the mesh, so that you really don't have to measure. So I'm going to show you my sign and my ribbons. I'm going to be using, well, I'll have to put the camera down to show you that. So wait just 1 minute. I'll put the camera down and we'll get started. Thanks for joining me. Hold on. Okay, the sign that I'm going to be using is Hello Fall. The polka dots and the checks. It's got the green vines and the little pumpkin house on it. I thought that was super cute. Along with my ribbon tails. These are cut at 12 inches. So I'm going to be alternating back and forth with the green and the orange. And I use the moss green for these. I'm going to put some lighter green in the bow so that the greenery matches the leaves. Again, these are cut to 12 inches. The mesh that I'm going to be using today is jute poly mesh. It's 10.5 inches wide by 10 yards long. So it's 30 feet long. I'm going to be doing the pouf method with my mesh. Let me grab my wreath form. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see, almost put the camera up so you can see my whittle. Never mind the mess back here, guys. If you've been watching me for very long, you know that Whittle is my baby. He used to be very tiny, and he's getting bigger. His name is Whittle, like whittling a stick. Every time I'm in front of the camera, he runs in here and jumps up so that he's in the video, so I call him my little superstar. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I do not have a mesh roller, so the way I do it is I drop my mesh to the floor. It's just easier that way. Move my sign. I'm going to start. Now my pipe cleaners on here are about 4 to 4.5 inches apart. I put them on the outer two wires right here. I've got 10 going around the outside, 8 going around the inside. For the inside pipe cleaners, I put it on this one and this one. Actually, these are called rungs, so you can call them wires, rungs, what have you. It doesn't really matter. But there's 8 on the inside and 10 on the outside. So what I do is take the end of my mesh. It's not too badly frayed right now, so that'll be okay. Gather it up right here, making sure that, you know, you have it kind of even because you don't want it falling back through there. I like to start mine on the outside of the wreath. It really doesn't matter, whatever you're comfortable with. Open it up. And like I said, these pipe cleaners are anywhere from 4 to 4.5 inches apart. If you put them on like that, you'll end up with 10 on the outside and 8 on the inside. This is just a Dollar Tree wreath frame. It just so happens to be the tan or gold color. Now what I do, grab my zip tie. Is I'm not going to put my mesh into this tie. I'm going to lay it next to it, behind it, or I could put it in front of it. It really doesn't matter. How I'm going to do, I'll just lay it down in here, but I'm not going to close this zip tie. I mean, I'm not going to close the pipe cleaner. Sorry guys, I always get that confused. Put the zip tie on there. This is just reassurance that the mesh isn't going to fall out. Just keeps me from being so nervous about it. Especially when I'm selling it. So now that I have this in here, I'm going to go ahead and cut this little piece that's sticking out off a bit. We don't need all that. Trash is on there. Now what I do is you got to make sure the sides of your mesh are tucked in so that they look nice and uniform. And instead of going and measuring it to where I would just put it into the next pipe cleaner like that, what you do is you take it from where it begins, skip that pipe cleaner, go to the next, then back it up, and lay your mesh down in there. Give it a couple twists. So the reasoning for doing this, and the reason that you really don't have to measure, is because, like I said, the pipe cleaners are 4 to 4.5 inches apart. And if you skip the first one and go to the second one and back it up, your loops will all be consistent in size. So right now I'm probably making my loops anywhere from 8, roughly, because the pipe cleaners are roughly 4 to 4.5 inches apart, anywhere from between 8 and 10 inches, or pretty close to 9. Okay, to that one. Back it up. Put it down in there. Now I like to go back and poof up my I like to go back and fluff out the poofs when I make them. Making sure the sides of the mesh are tucked in. To that one, back it up. I may be adding some curls in here, I'm not sure. When I get done with this, to the base. I already have some made, but I'm not so sure they match too well, but we'll see. Okay, to that one, we skip this one. Back up. And I know it looks a little sparse right now, but it won't in the end. It's going to be really pretty. Hold of it. Oh, this pipe cleaner moved on me. That's okay. I can just push it back. Go to this one, back up. And like I told you, I only have 10 pipe cleaners on the outer part of the wreath frame. And I make sure I put the pipe cleaners on 2 of them, because if you just put it on one, they're gonna move. And that also depends on what type of wreath base you're making, because like if you're making a bubble wreath, which maybe I'll do a video on that soon, you kind of want your pipe cleaners to move so that you can, push your puffs back. But this is just called the poof method. And the measuring method is pull it forward and push it back. It's not my idea. Wreath makers have been doing it for a long time. It's just an easy way to make a wreath like this without having to measure. Okay, got 2 more on the outside. Push it forward, pull it back, and lay it down in there. And push it forward, pull it back. Now I'm going to go into the zipped into the pipe cleaner that I skipped in the beginning. And lay the mesh down in there. Puff everything out. Make sure your poofs are all pretty. Make sure your pipe cleaners are standing up for whatever you're going to add next. I think I'm going to go ahead and add the curls. You know, and definitely I'm adding the ribbon, so. And thank you all for joining me today. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button and the bell. If you would, I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers now. I've got one more fall wreath to make after this, and then I'm going to be moving on to Christmas. Okay, so now I'm going to take my mesh, pull it up. Now, what I like to do, take another zip tie, now that I'm going up, or going in. Tie it onto the ring or onto the wire, just like I did when I started, so I know it's staying up there. And cut that off. Now you don't want to go from the outside. Say if I went from the outside and made a poof to go in, I would have an extra one. So we're skipping this pipe cleaner, just like I did when we started. Make sure your edges are tucked. Okay. Again, pull it forward, push it back. That way you don't have to worry about, you know, taking time to measure on your mat or ruler or whatever device that you're going to be using. Push it forward, pull it back. Forward and pull it back. And see, it just makes all the poofs consistent and uniform. Uniform is the word I was looking for. So, are you guys happy it's fall? And are you getting excited about Christmas coming? Please never mind the stuff behind me. It looks like a mess. We moved into this place a year ago. Sold the house that we're living in. Moved here. And we are finally looking for another house. But if you guys know anything about the housing market, it is crazy trying to find something. So, anyway, when I move, which I haven't done a whole lot, but when I do, I like for my stuff to be organized. Just how I am. Clutter drives me crazy. It makes me anxious. Okay, forward, back. And then I'll grab the curls that I've made and see what I think. As long as it matches the sign, we're going to be alright. And I do think there's yellow. Yeah, there's some yellow on the sunflowers on there. Okay, push it forward, pull it back. If you guys would and you're watching this, please tell me your name and where you're watching me from. I'm going to start doing more live videos soon. Okay. Tie that up. Hold on a second, guys. I want to shut my door. Okay. Now, we're back to that pipe cleaner that I skipped in the beginning. So, push it forward, pull it back, lay it down in there. And fluff it up. Now, since I have extra mesh left, I might as well keep going. And the way I like to do that is to just go around oh, hold on, guys. I didn't tie that right. I did not put it in the proper pipe cleaner. I tied it to the one below it. You know, stuff happens. So I try not to take a lot out of my videos because I do make mistakes. I am human. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. My camera makes everything appear smoky to me, and there's absolutely no smoke around me. I even cleaned the lens trying to figure out why it's like that. Okay, I might as well just keep going. So, pull it forward, bring it back. See how much mesh I got left on the roll. That's what I mean. If I would have had all my pipe cleaners standing up to where I could clearly see them, I wouldn't have made that mistake. Push it forward. Poof it out. See how much better that's filling it up? I still might go ahead and add the curls. I'm not sure yet. I have to see. Let's see how much mesh I have left on the roll. So I have this much left. So I don't think I'm going to have a problem whatsoever getting all the way around one more time. Again, I drop it to the floor because I don't have a wreath, a mesh holder yet. I started doing this 4 years ago, and I still don't have a mesh holder because it just works for me. And I don't have a lot of room on my table. Okay, here we go. Forward, push it back. And this jute mesh, I love it. You know, it really has rope fibers in it, so it's very sturdy. It can put up with a lot of weather, you know, the wind and everything else. If you've ever seen a regular work wreath form that comes with the ties already on it, it also has 10 ties on the outside bottom, but it's elevated in the middle, and it's got 8 ties on the inside top. Well, where I live in Indiana, in northern Indiana. Like, everybody has a screen door. So, nobody really can buy a wreath that's made on a work wreath form and put it on their door because it'll get smashed between them. So, using this flat wreath frame, it makes, a much less thick wreath. I can't figure out the word I'm looking for. It's just not so deep. Okay, there you're back. But yeah, if you live in colder climates, a lot of times people have screen doors. keep snow and everything else out. And people just aren't looking for great big wreaths. So therefore, I don't make them. Now, every now and then I will, because I do sell on Etsy. The ribbons and the sign that I'm using right now are available in my Etsy shop, and I have it linked below. I have other ribbon and sign sets as well, including Christmas. Okay, bring it up, put it down. And poof it out. It's really becoming full, and I love that. You don't want the sides of your mesh to be sticking out flat. That's why you want to make sure that your poofs are bubble-like and tucked in on both sides. Next one, back it up. And let's see where, I gotta turn it over for a minute so I can see where I started. Okay, yep. Go to this one, back it up. The next pipe cleaner after this one will be my final one. And stand them up. Okay, very last one. Pull it forward, push it back. To me, it's just a lot easier not having to measure. And if you get a work wreath form, again, the ties that come on it are 4 to 4.5 inches apart. So the poof method on this type of setup with the pipe cleaners and the wreath frame will always work with, I'm just going to call it the push forward, pull back method, because I don't know. I did not invent it. But when I seen it, I sure did pick it up. It makes it a lot easier. Make sure all my pipe cleaners are up, so I don't miss any, because the thicker it gets, the easier it is to do that. I'm going to grab my curls that I've already made. I'm not so sure I have 18 of them though. And we will find out. Okay, so I do have a little bit of mesh left, not enough to get me around another time. That's how much I have left out of the roll. So I'm going to cut this off, take my mesh piece, stick it down in the wreath frame, turn it over, put another zip tie, and zip it on here. That's just reassurance to me. I mean, you could just tuck it down in there and go on, but, and I have seen people do that, and that's okay. I like to put a zip tie on mine. Now, I don't think we need this much sticking up. Stick that down in there. Okay, go this way. I'm going to grab the curls that I have made, and I'm going to see if I think they're going to look okay. Okay, these are the curls that I've made, and I've already got them prepared. These are 8 to 10 inch pieces of regular Deco Mesh without any foil, and I just rolled it up to make a curl or a roll, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a curl or a roll, whichever you prefer to call it. And since it does match the yellow on the sunflowers, I am going to go ahead and add them. This gives it another dimension. bit more color. So again, I'm going to start on the outside, adding these. And I do think I've made enough of them. That kind of helps fill up that outside. Now when I did that third roll of Deco Mesh, I tried to keep it in the center. It wasn't like on the inside or the very outside. I just tried to keep it in the center as I went around. So yeah, I'm just going to call this method the push forward, pull back, poof method. Alright guys, I'm back. I went and picked up 5 more of the curls. And while I was over there, I noticed that my next wreath that has been ordered is actually a Thanksgiving wreath. Whoa. Put these down in here, and then we're going to make a bow. Everything out. I have 2 more to go. This just really adds more fullness, texture, and dimension. Pull everything up so I can find it for my ribbon tails, and then I'm going to set the wreath aside and make a bow. Okay, there we go. Okay, this is it so far. It's a pretty good base. Set it over here. Grab my easy bow. My ribbons. And there's supposed to be a spool right here. And mine is missing still. In my last video, I said I was going to try to get my husband to find a, I think it's called a dowel rod. I'm not positive, but cut one for me so I don't have to set my ribbon on the floor. But for now, I do. It's just easier for me than trying to, you know, finagle it all up here. Pin cushion. Okay, so we're going to start with the pumpkin. I call it pumpkin dash ribbon with the moss leaves. It's available in my Etsy shop, link below. I don't want the tail to be super big on this, so we're going to do it about 10 inches. I can always cut it down. Place it down in there. Now I have to twist the ribbon so that the not so pretty side is up. Bring it out to about, I'm not going to make a super huge bow. Let's start about 5.5. Bring it down. Try to get as flat as I can right here. That's going to make a big difference. Go to 5.5. Take this side. Twist it. Pull some ribbon. I need slack. It's much easier to work with if you have slack. Put this one down. Go out to 5.5 inches. push it down. Now, to make sure the loops are the same on both sides, you just pull it up and hold on a minute. Yeah, I definitely, oh, I need a bigger table so that I can get a wreath, a mesh holder, and a spool of, you know what I mean, the rod that goes in here, this. Okay, almost to 6. Okay, I'm going to do these again. I think I'm going to make 2 or 3 loops on both sides, on each side, with the pumpkin dash ribbon. So now I don't have to actually measure because I'm just following the existing loop that's down for this particular ribbon. Now when I start on my next ribbon I'm going to add to this, I'll go in a little bit so that you can see this. Okay, twist. Pull it out after I've twisted it so the not so pretty side is up. Bring it around. Put it in. And so now I have this. We'll do one more on both sides, giving us 3 loops each. 6 total, 3 on both sides of this ribbon. See if I can get this one to go up. Now, all these tails will be cut down. And this is called the Deluxe Easy Bow. And I'll try to remember to link it down in the description box below. Okay, well that's what we have. Let's move to the next color. In the sign. And grab the yellow too. Let's put, do I want both greens in it? No. We're going to do some bright green because of the bright green vines in the sign. And again, the tail length isn't going to matter because this is going to be a smaller, rounder type bow. So I'll just go to about 8.5, put it down in here. Now I know that by looking at this, you're probably thinking that it doesn't match, but after I get the sign on, it will. When you're making a wreath, you just got to make sure that everything in your wreath as a whole matches the sign itself. So here we go again. Twist. This appears to be the same on both sides, but it is not. I can tell the right side and the wrong side. Okay, I'm going to bring these loops to about 4.5. Twist it. Put it down in there. Twist it. I'll just do 2 on each side with this. And bring the tail down. Okay, the next ribbon. I don't want to add the moss green into this. I don't think I do. The next ribbon is going to be orange. Oh. So, on the flower. Maybe. I may go in after I put the orange. Might want to put a little bit of yellow in it. Just because there's yellow on the sunflowers. I think I will. Okay. Start over here. Bring it out. My previous loops, I think I said they were at about 4.5. These are going to be about 4. My nose started itching. Sorry, guys. Okay, twist. Go to the 4. Hold my loops up and make sure they're the same size. This one's a tad bit longer. Okay, now they are. Down in there. Twist. Oh, I didn't twist. Twist. Follow the existing loop. You don't have to really measure on the Easy Bow now, or my mat, whichever one. Just follow the existing. Just your first loop of each color you need to measure. And you could make your loops all the same size for every single ribbon. I've seen people do that, and it turns out beautiful. But I just like to gradually go in with mine. Okay, I'm just going to put 2 again with this ribbon. Pull it down. Let me grab my yellow ribbon. Okay, I'm back. I got my yellow ribbon. Let's start it up here. Twist. These are going to be a tad bit shorter. Not quite 3.5, but make those almost 3.5. Again, all of these ribbons for the wreath and the sign are available in my Etsy shop down below. I get my Deco Mesh from my wholesaler, but you can get Deco Mesh from Hobby Lobby, Michael's, even Walmart. I've seen it at Walmart too, especially during the holidays. I mean, it don't have to be 10.5 inches wide. You can just make it, most Deco Mesh comes in 10-inch rolls. Now, Michael's used to sell it in 20 or 12-inch wide rolls. I don't know if they still do, because like I said, I get mine from my wholesaler, and it's been a while since I've purchased any mesh from any craft stores besides online. But Hobby Lobby, Michael's, you know, sometimes even Walmart. Okay, I want to make sure this isn't all twisted within itself. And just to make this really pop, I'm going to put 3 loops on both sides. Twist it. And bring this one this way. Pull my loops around. That's the same. And cut it off. Okay, for my final ribbon and top ribbon, I'm coming in with this orange polka dot with white polka dots. Pin cushion go. Drop it to the ground. I don't have a whole lot on this roll, but it matches the sign perfectly. And this ribbon comes with this as well. I think I'm going to start with this tail up this way. I have no idea if there's a name for this bow. I'm just going along and just making it my way. And that's what you can do too. Make it your way. Okay, twist, go out. I want this to be a tad bit shorter. I really want that yellow to show. I think it's going to make the orange polka dot ribbon pop. And draw your eye up to it. See, my stack's getting so tall, it's hard for me to see the measuring marks on the bow maker, so hold it up. These are pretty tiny loops. See if that matches again. And it does. Twist. Pull it out. Bring it back around. Oh, my kitty cat got up here, guys. I don't know if you can see him in the camera. Her. There she is. Her name is Precious. It's another kitty cat that I have. Besides Widow. Twist. Lay it down in there. Trying to decide if I want to do 3 loops on both sides with the polka dot or keep it at 2. I started up here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do 3. What are you doing, Precious? Hmm? What are you doing? You're going to have to get down when I get my wreath back up here, baby. Okay. That there. And bring it down this way. I think I might want to put it up that way. I'm not sure. No, I'm going to bring it down this way. And cut it off. All the ribbon will get straightened out when I get it onto the wreath, because that's when I do the most fluffing of my bow. I'm going to need a much longer zip tie than what I've been using to go around this entire stack. I also need a pipe cleaner, so let me grab that. Okay, you guys, I'm back. I got my pipe cleaner. I have to have a pipe cleaner to tie the bow onto the wreath. And I needed somewhat of a longer zip tie. So I just take the zip tie, place it underneath all the loops and the tails, bring it up, latch it, not all the way. Oh, I missed the hole. Okay. Pull it up off of my bow maker. See where the indentation is on the bow? I have to scoot it over there so that it's even. Bring it around to the back. Tighten it a bit more. Again, not all the way. Make sure everything is lined up the way it should be. Now I have to put the pipe cleaner through there so that I will have it to tie onto the bow. Tighten it a bit more. I'm still not doing it all the way. And then start to pull. I do a lot of the fluffing after I get it onto the wreath. That's just how I like to do it. Everybody does it different. I can hold on to this pipe or this zip tie while I'm spreading out my loops. And I really want to get in there and twist them so that, you know, show them who's boss. Okay. Yellow. Poof it out. I'll fluff out each one of my loops a bit while I have it in my hand. And I don't dovetail the ends of my tails, you know, and cut them down until I get it onto the wreath as well. Okay, just give these a little bit of a fluff. Right now, I can tighten it up the rest of the way. Cut the zip tie off with my wire cutters. Now I have this pipe cleaner right here. I just give it a twist or two around the zip tie. I know it might not look like much right now, but it will look very pretty when I get it on the wreath. Okay, I'm going to set the bow aside, bring the wreath back. Here's the bow and here's the sign. I hope it doesn't have a glare on it, but it may. And again, I haven't cut the tails down yet. Set the bow and the sign aside. Grab the wreath. Now for my ribbon tails, I told you in the beginning, I'm alternating the pumpkin, dash pumpkins with the orange and the green. So every other one's going to be orange, every other one's going to be the green on top. So I'm just going to fold these in half, finding my center. I like to lay mine down on the table to scrunch it up the middle. I'm going to take my ribbons, pull them out like little birdie wings, lay it down in the pipe cleaner, and tie it on. Push back the pipe cleaner. Okay. I'll get a couple on here and I'll show you what it looks like from this view. To the green. You know, and I'll be adding a few of these with you guys, and then I'll speed up the video and finish putting the ribbon tails on. I am putting ribbon tails in every single pipe cleaner. Green. Now this dark green doesn't necessarily match the green in the sign perfect, but it does match the leaves on the pumpkin ribbon. I want to make sure that all my pumpkins are facing the same way on my tails when I add them to the wreath. Down in there, tie it on, pull out the tails. Go to the next one, and it'll be orange. You always want to make sure. See? Maybe I did. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Line it up. My ends of my ribbon tails are dovetailed. Line the center. This one in, I'll turn it around and show you what we have going on. Pull the ribbon tails out and separate them. And make sure it's tied on tight. Cut the remaining pipe cleaner off, pushing that little nub or stub or whatever you want to call it back in there, bending it down. Trash can. Okay, this one, do the same with the pipe cleaner. Pushing it back down in there. And I already did that one. Okay, let me show you what it looks like from this way. Spread them out again. Now this particular customer, chose these ribbons. So I wanted to make sure that everything was like what she picked out. Okay, for the ribbon tails, they look like this. Okay, put one more in, and then I'm going to continue to go around, and I'll meet you back before I start on the inside. Green, fold it, find the center, scrunch it up the middle. And put it down in there. This wreath will have no problem fitting between a screen door and a storm door. Alright, you guys see what I'm doing with the ribbons. So, I'm going to continue to add them to the rest of the outside of the wreath, and I'll meet you back before I put on these 8. Okay, you guys, I've completed the outside with the ribbon tails all the way around. Got all 10 of them in. Again, alternating every other one, orange, green, orange, green. Now I'm going to start on the middle, and there's only 8 ties on the middle. Again, lay my ribbons down, line them up, fold it in half, crease it. Go up the middle and lay it down into the pipe cleaner. And cut the pipe cleaner off. Making sure you leave a little bitty nub sticking up because you don't want to lose your ribbon that's in there or anything else that we put in there. Okay. Fluff these out. Like that. And to the next one. Should be orange. Fold it in half. Tie it on. And cut off the pipe cleaner. Okay, I'm going to finish putting the ones on the inside, and when I get back, I'll put my bow and my sign on and see if there's anything else I want to add. Okay, you guys, I've went all the way around on the inside. I'm just pulling my ribbons up a bit. And then I'm going to add the sign and the bow. And of course, when I get everything on, I'll go around again and make sure everything's pretty and standing up and even. So here is what we have going on so far. Okay, let me grab the bow and the sign. Now what I use to put my bow on and my sign on is a yarn needle. I use this blue yarn needle so that my pipe cleaners can go down in between, or my pipe cleaners can go down right into my mesh. That way I'm not smashing anything, trying to move it out of the way and all that jazz. So I had a place picked out as I was going. I wanted it right here. I want to put the sign, but again, because I want the sign right here. That right here. And I'm going to put the bow over here, diagonal, somewhat diagonal. Kind of like corner to corner if this was a square wreath frame. But it actually has no corners since it's round, but I think you guys know what I mean. And of course, I still got to cut my tails. So I want my sign right here. Put it through, put the pipe cleaner through. Right into my mesh. Pull it behind it. Making sure everything's straightened out and it's not smashed. Do the opposite side of the wreath frame or wreath sign. Right down through the mesh. And this side. And right up here. Move this out of the way for a minute. Okay, I don't like to turn my wreath over and smash everything. Make sure all my pipe cleaners are pulled through. And I seem to be missing one. Okay, I found it. So I'm going to tie the sign directly onto my wreath frame. You never want to tie it onto the mesh. Get my placement right before I tie it on super tight. I like for my signs to tilt in, especially with the kind of bow that I made, since it's not going to have long tails. Put it, wrap it on there, but not super tight yet. Pull the ribbons that are underneath it out because that drives me crazy, and you know that if you watched me before. And again, I want to thank you all for being here and watching me and joining me as I make this fall wreath. Okay, now for the bow. I want it down in this area. About right here. So take my yarn needle. Don't fall. I can put both pipe cleaners for the bow. Put it down through the mesh. Near the frame. Now I want it to come kind of, have some tension on it because I want for the loops to stand up. And of course I still have to fluff my loops of my bow. So I'm going to pull this down, tie it onto the wreath frame. I went ahead and plugged my glue gun in case I want to add any floral to it, flowers. Okay, so here's what we have now. All these loops to stand up. Okay, now I can move on to dovetailing the ends of my tails and placing them where I want them. So to dovetail, you just take your wired ribbon, match up the wires, fold it, cut from the folded side down to the wires. It's easier on your scissors and you take less of a chance of cutting yourself. And I'll probably go in shorter with these bows even yet. I mean with the tails. I'll fluff my loops back up after I get the tails done. Like that. Dovetail them all. This one's going to be a bit shorter yet. No, I don't want them, I want them super short, but I don't want them super long either. Most of the time, I make a bow with super long tails. Nothing like this, like just a basic wreath bow. If you've watched me in the past. Okay, again, you want to cut from the folded side down towards the wire. And the reasoning for that is if I went like this and turned it and try to cut it like this, my finger's under there, it's just safer and easier on your scissors if you don't start off at the wire. This. And that gives it a quite nice finished edge. And I found some orange flowers that I may put in here. Not quite sure yet, but I turned on my glue gun just in case. I like that polka dot one to be a bit longer. Now you can really get in here and pull the loops up, spread them out with your fingers. Now that everything's tied on. Of course, I still have to, tighten my sign in the back. When I get it up on the wall, I'll be able to tell if my sign and my bow placement is correct. And to tell you guys the truth, I will probably fluff this bow like 8 more times before I give it to my customer. Okay. Oh, I'm going to cut this down a bit. Okay, I found these orange flowers. I'm just going to place them where I may want them. I picked these up at the Dollar Tree. Not sure that I'm going to use the greenery. Let's see. That's be moved over here a bit, maybe. That. And I'll put one about right here. Let me know if you guys would have added the flowers as well in the comment section below. I do have some sunflowers, but they're really big and it just overpowers it. I like to work in odd numbers, so I have 2 on there. I will put 5 total. These will just be a little bit peeking out. They're not the star of the show by any means. all coming together, you guys. Let's see if I can maybe put one. I just think this needs to be showing a bit more. Always put it like this. I can see if I want these leaves on here. You can't really see the leaves on the flowers, so I don't think it really matters if I leave them on there or not. And this polka dot ribbon is just giving me fits. But it's pretty once I get it to lay the way I want it to. And I'm going to add one right here. What the heck? Okay. I have my flowers placed. Alright, you guys, I gotta quit messing with the bow. Now, I will go back and fill, glue the flowers in here in just a minute. I don't think my glue's hot enough yet. Let me turn it around. And hello. Okay. So, well, I don't know if you can see it in my camera. It looks like you can't, but maybe if I back up a bit. Of course, the flowers will be put down in there a bit more to give more stability. Or, the more I look at it, I may just decide to take the flowers off. You'll see my final decision when it's on the door. So here it is. Not too thick, so it goes between doors. This is not considered a pancake wreath by any means. Melly Mel invented the pancake wreath from Sincerely Creative. This one's thin, but it's just not made the same way that the original pancake wreath is made. And of course, I'll still be fluffing. It'll drive me crazy. Okay, gotta quit. So here it is. Try to get the glare off of it. Nope. There. Okay, you guys. So, thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. My goal is to try to get to 10,000 subscribers, hopefully. And please, if you have not yet, hit the bell for notifications, like and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Join me for my next one. It's going to be Thanksgiving wreath. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.